All righty, good morning. Today we're going to talk about the skunk ape, St. John's River monster, the Coral Castle down in Homestead, Florida, and the powers of copper. Buckle up, you're on the Bearded and Blessed podcast.
Welcome to the Bearded and Blessed podcast. Honest, everyday conversations anchored in faith.
Hey, good morning, you guys. Man, it's been a week. Things are going crazy, but we've got some fun stuff to talk about today. We should just do a Florida episode.
Yes.
And Florida did not disappoint. I think there's probably a lot more than the stuff that we've got when it comes to Florida. I'm sure we could go down major rabbit holes.
Yeah.
But the skunk ape. I knew nothing about this. Did you know anything about a skunk ape?
I didn't, but bro, I live for this stuff. This is incredible. A couple episodes I said I was going to buy Bigfoot feet and run through Florida after the next snowstorm, after the next rainfall, and leave big footprints. And it's a real thing.
Come to find out,
What in the world?
The skunk ape could be in your neighborhood anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll go down a little bit of a rabbit hole here. Apparently this is widely known. It's been on PBS, the History Channel, some other media. It kind of dates back to the 1800s in the Florida newspapers around there. They talked about a man-sized monkey.
Oh my gosh.
If people are still seeing it today, which they are, we'll talk about that a little bit. But if they're still seeing it today, I doubt it's the same man-sized monkey.
I'd hope not.
So he's got a posse.
Yeah.
The interesting part about this, and really kind of got me thinking, like, about our culture versus like the Native American culture, but you know, they have an oral tradition that goes on today. They sit down and they kind of do like a passage of rites kind of thing for their children, and they tell them stories from their past generations and things of that nature. And the Seminole and the Miccosukee refer to these skunk apes as the Estacapkaki. And apparently these things predate the European settlers. So like these things were here before us.
Yeah.
And I think some of these tribes claim that they are long lost ancestors, and I'd like to know what happened to your buddy.
I'd like to get one on the show.
Well, you know, I found a YouTube video of them interviewing one, so we'll have to see if they'll do it. But, you know, the interesting thing that I was talking about was like, I don't know what it was like with your grandparents, but my grandparents were like, hush, hush. They were like, oh, we don't talk about such and such. We don't talk about this. We don't talk about that. And it's like,
almost like superstition.
Yeah. And like the Native American culture is like, we talk about everything. We're going to tell our kids everything that we saw, from the red-headed giants with 6 fingers all the way down to the skunk ape.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It kind of bothers me a little bit when I think about it. Like, I don't think I knew my grandparents as well as I could have. And how much of it was on me and how much it was on them for not wanting to talk about the past.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
It is, man, because you think about how much life they lived, right? And how many things they have experienced.
The Great Depression, all these things.
I mean, I can tell my kids about the rotary phone.
That's another thing I watched recently, was like our generation is kind of like the bridge in the gap between like the boomers and the millennials, and how we saw both sides and transitioned through it. But that's for another day.
And we don't want anything to do with either of them.
Pretty much.
Bro, we just want to sit on
I just want to get on my BMX.
Drink some iced tea.
Just get on the BMX bikes, go all night or all day until the lights come on and you're supposed to come back home. That's
I miss those days, man.
Dude, they kicked you out of the house and you were gone the whole day.
It's 8 o'clock.
Nobody wondered. Nobody, no cell phones texting you. It's pretty crazy.
It's 8 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?
Yeah.
And it went to 10 o'clock. Then they just stopped.
Yeah,
nobody cared where their kids were.
It was kinda funny. I didn't have much of a curfew. It was kinda like I don't even think anybody really waited up.
Big orange flag on it. When I heard my grandfather whistle, bro, it's time to get your butt
Yep,
home,
time
man.
to get home. Yep. One of the things as far as Bigfoot's concerned is, like, there's this, like, endearing feeling for Bigfoot,
Yeah,
and, like, Bigfoot probably tear your arms off
yeah,
if you really ran across one, but, like, the Harry and the Hendersons movie,
yeah.
I mean, even Chewbacca. Chewbacca's, like,
I
my
Bro,
favorite
I
Star
was
Wars
looking
guy.
at the piece you got over there. I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah, and, like, we want to love Bigfoot.
yeah,
Um, Even, like, the little cousin It, I was thinking in, like, Addams Family, he's
yeah.
not, like, a giant or anything, but he's got all this hair, and it's like, we're infatuated with the locks of, you
And
know
yeah, and then you got the skunk ape, which kind of reminds me of Bigfoot's redneck cousin.
Bigfoot's redneck cousin named Bubba. Oh, all right. Well, let's dive into a couple of these
Oh
videos
Lord.
and check this out because I want to know more
Yeah.
about the skunk ape. All right, this first video I think is just kind of like a little bit of a teaser. Dude, one thing I learned is there's people that have done some extensive research on this and really, really prodded deep.
I'd like to know when we evolved and got a mustache.
Right. So, no, he shaves that. That's part of his grooming
Yeah.
process.
Oh,
All right, let's check out this first one.
People hear about the Bigfoot. People know about the Bigfoot, but not a lot of people know about skunk apes. The skunk apes that we have here in the Everglades are different. My name is Dave Shealy. I'm the lead researcher at Skunk Ape Research Headquarters in Ochopee, Florida. And when I was 10 years old, I saw what other people, older people, had described to me as being a skunk ape, an animal about 7 feet tall. It just never ended. I've just always wanted to find out more about what I saw. Being a skunk ape is an unbelievable experience, just simply because the time involved in putting yourself in a position where you can get a photograph or get a view for a minute. It just kind of leaves you speechless. And you wish you had more people. You could say, there it is.
So I think I'm going to start the Trash Panda Research Center
yeah.
and really do some research on what gets in my trash at night, and then
Oh my
invite some
gosh.
people in because it's a monster.
Bro, I'm in because I freaking love raccoons. I
Yeah.
swear it's my life's mission before I die now that I get a hold of a baby raccoon.
Well, this is a state to do it in.
Yes, it is.
We were sitting out on the patio one night, me and a buddy, just smoking a couple cigars, and a raccoon came up to us. It had to have been about 3 feet away. And I didn't even notice it. And the other guy was like, "Hey man, look at that." And I was like, "Man, is that rabid thing gonna,
Yeah.
come at us?" And he's like, "Man, it's at night. Probably not. If it was during the day, you'd be a little more concerned."
Okay, okay.
But yeah, I mean, I see raccoons a lot, and
Uh,
some of them are bigger than dogs.
I don't see many skunk apes.
No,
And I was thinking that, you know what? Somebody named me a skunk ape, I wouldn't show my damn face around either.
well, and I'd be a little upset too if people were walking around in carpet suits filming themselves and then
Yeah.
calling them.
Yeah, I tell you that guy looked pretty good in a monkey suit.
Yeah, that wasn't very convincing.
You could just tell by the way they walk,
Right.
that it's a dude in a sweaty suit.
Well, and there's a couple other ones that I think get a little more. This guy, I think, caught something, and if they spoof this is pretty good.
I tell you, I was cracking jokes the whole time till I saw this one,
Yeah,
and I was like, "Whoa!"
yeah. It's a little longer than this, but I kind of went down to the middle here because it really gets interesting right here in the middle. So let's check this one out. Make sure you look in like this area right here.
I think it was huge.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Chewbacca left the Millennium Falcon.
Bro, and you could hear it ripping that tree apart.
Yeah. But he couldn't hear him for some
But
reason.
he couldn't hear him tromping around in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, man, you can't even get within, 200 yards of a deer without it hearing you or smelling you.
Yeah. I mean, I would think if this thing was anywhere near real, then it would have like super sensitive.
But bro,
like it's a predator, you know.
Now I want to see one.
Well,
like now I really do, because see, like out in New Jersey, the only thing that we have is the Jersey Devil.
Oh.
And you would have people who go tromping out in the woods trying to find that thing.
Now, what's a Jersey Devil?
So it's some kind of lore. I think it was in the 17 or 1800s. It was a super long time ago.
Okay.
This lady gave birth to this thing that came out looking like a demon, like a devil. And supposedly it lives in the Pine Barrens. And people will go out there and try and find it. And so maybe it's my stupid nature to...
Man, there's some crazy stuff that went on up here in New England. Salem witch trials, the Jersey Devil.
Yeah. I'm definitely more interested in the skunk ape. And how the hell it got its name.
You know, that's one thing I never did come across is how it got its name. Maybe it has like a white streak. The original one had like a white streak on its back or something. I'm not sure.
Just stinks.
Could be. I smelled that. It's the stinkiest Sasquatch on Earth. Now, speaking of Sasquatch, we would be remiss to not get Sasquatch's opinion on the skunk ape.
I love these freaking things.
Yeah. So, you know, let's see what he has to say about all of this nonsense and shenanigans.
That skunk ape y'all keep asking about? Yeah, he's known him around here. A genuine, grade A dumbass. Look, if Skunk Ape shows up at your cookout, just let him talk. He burns out faster than a citronella candle in a hurricane. I ain't kidding. Skunk Ape? Man, smells like a diaper full of shit. I seen bullfrogs back away from him. That ain't right.
All right, cut the cameras off. I gotta drop some swamp weight and swing by Rhonda's mud hole.
I love those
so
videos.
You were right. You were spot on, man. They all say he stinks.
And he's a dumbass. Oh, gosh.
I mean, this is a good thing. Like for me, this is great because I just need a little bit of laughter in my life.
You know what I mean? And I was just thinking about how many people from some of the churches I've attended would just watch our thing and be like, oh, you need some Jesus. You know, like... You
guys are skunk Christians.
That's how I'm going to refer to fake Christians. Skunk Christian.
I might be a skunk Christian, but my Jesus still smells pretty. Oh, man.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, I really don't. I used to care. I don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
I've kind of hit the age that, you know what? So what?
Yeah. I mean, plus, I've just been around the block enough to know that dude, if you're coming at me like this, there's way more going on in
Yeah,
you
and
than
most of those people haven't been through a whole lot either.
no.
That's I've been kind of looking back at my life and looking at some of the crap that I've survived,
Yeah.
and I look back at some of the conversations that I've had with some different people, and I'm like, they they ain't been. The hardest thing that happened to them is they might have lost their parent as an adult,
Yeah.
like or God forbid their kid doesn't get into the college that they want them to get into,
Mm.
or and I'm like, my life has been survival, bro, from the second I came out of the womb. You want to know why I'm the way I am?
Yeah.
Bro, I got a story for you.
Well, and
Pull up a chair.
I think that comes to boy, we go from skunk ape to some
Well, see,
interesting
this is
discussions,
how
don't we?
our
They
conversations
really are.
actually go.
You know,
It's
I was
wild.
asked by somebody, they're like, "Is this really the way you guys talk?" And I'm like, "This is exactly who
Yes.
we are, camera or no camera." I think what people miss out on is it doesn't matter what you're talking about or how you're sharing or how you're communicating. Um, everything can come back to Jesus.
Yeah.
Um, because if he is a center of this life,
Yeah.
then everything that goes on in this life, like you're going to be in communion with him.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Even making
It,
stupid videos about
right.
skunk ape. We become so judgmental, and we take a look at somebody and we determine, are they fit to be, could that be a pastor?
Right.
Are they saved? Do they have something going on in their life? Man, take a look at your own damn life before you start trying to judge things based on the look of my face.
Well, and
For real.
it's almost like grooming.
It is. They
You
want
know?
everybody to kind of, and it's not everybody, but the couple of places I've experienced, like they try to mold everybody to look the same. The way you come in and you're like, wow, this is like, what
Yeah.
was it? What's the name of that town? Oh, no, it was the Stepford Wives,
Oh yeah.
wasn't it? Where the freaking town, like everybody
Well,
was dressed the same and everybody said the same things and everybody's yard was completely manicured.
that's a Disney town.
It-
No, I mean seriously,
really?
like right Celebration.
Okay, okay.
I think it's Celebration.
That's just weird, man.
Yeah, like it's pretty Stepford.
Like my yard looks like life.
Yeah.
Bro, there's things that are overgrown, there's things that look great, and there's things that are burnt, and there ain't never something gonna grow there again.
Yeah. I mean, ours too. And that's okay. It I don't know, man. The sooner we can get past this whole mentality of the body of Christ doesn't look like a cookie cutter mold.
Yeah.
Um, it looks like the Bible looked.
Yeah.
It looks like 12 dudes and a bunch of other apostles and people that came to know him that were everything from, you know, kings
Yeah.
all the way down to the red light district
Yep.
and
Absolutely, man.
and everybody in between.
It's
So
somewhere along the way, man, we created like this perfect Christianity.
yeah,
And you know what? Nothing about it was supposed to be perfect except for Jesus.
right. All right, so let's take a look at the St. John's River monster.
Okay. The one that got away.
There's nothing like a good river monster, you know?
Fish stories are amazing.
So basically, this guy dates back to like 1849. They claim it was like 90 feet long, dirty brown snake-like creature with multiple fins and a serpent head. So,
God, I want to see that so bad.
well, the funny thing about this, let's back up a little bit. So the surge of sightings really kind of started happening in the 1950s and became a tourist attraction. They did like a $5,000 bounty in 1953 to try to find this thing. I mean, gosh, it starts to remind you of like Jaws and Anaconda and
Yeah.
Piranha and all
Yeah.
these other movies from back in the day. I always get highly, highly skeptical when money and tourism starts to get involved. Like, okay, you're
Absolutely,
selling a
man.
pretty good gimmick here,
Like,
apparently.
bro, between the freaking river monster and skunk ape, you could make money doing anything in Florida.
Pretty much. That's what we're being shown. So since then, apparently sightings of this thing still keep showing up, and somehow or another, I mean, if it's the same thing, it could have had some kids, I guess, but now it's got like pinkish skin and they call it Pinky.
Yeah, because that's, a kinder, gentler swamp monster.
Well, and then I guess there's certain people that claim that manatees are being mistaken for this thing or whatever. Now, there ain't no 90-foot long
Bro,
manatee I know of.
if there
But
is.
I've seen some pretty incredibly huge
Yeah.
manatees too, though.
Yep.
Now, I guess one of the interesting things for me is this is not the only creature that has been known to reside in waters. I mean, you've got Loch Ness monster or the Loch Ness.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a canal or what that is, but I guess it's just like a little lake.
Yeah.
But Nessie is in there,
Yep.
the Loch Ness monster. Lake Champlain, I believe that's up north in the States. They have what's called Champ. That's their
That's
monster.
wild, man.
And then Oga Boga, Canada has one too. And
That's
so,
some place to be from.
Canada.
Where are you from? Ogaboba?
Oga Boga.
But like now, so when it comes to the earth, how much of the earth of the
Man.
ocean and the waters have we actually investigated?
That's a good point. Like, and even with the Bigfoot stuff is like, okay,
Yeah.
you ever been walking through the woods and you swear you're being watched?
Yeah.
And so like, and that's eerie. That's an eerie feeling, man.
And my thing is our money is going, like we buy Google stuff, it's stuff
Mm-hmm.
to our taxes, all that. Our money's going to all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, bro, I want a satellite picture of the skunk ape. Give me something that I'm paying for. Give me something that's worth putting my money to.
Yeah. I don't care about the studies on the sexual behavior of mice. I want to know what's going on with the Bigfoot situation.
Man, drain the lake for about, I don't know,
dude,
halfway. Let's see what's flipping around and put the water back.
I mean, you're right, because like, think about how many studies, like there's some really weird studies.
Yeah.
And the one I mentioned, like, that's a real study.
Like, I want to see a giant freaking octopus, dude, like 30 feet long. That's what I want to see.
Well, and what's interesting is like this stuff, I mean, not all of it, but parts of this are biblical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Job, what was it, the Leviathan or something?
Yeah, something like that. And
And
then never mind all the stories, of the ships way back
Yeah.
when. I want to see some stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think there's actual scientific evidence for like a megalodon kind of deal.
That's what I mean. Like,
And you're spot on, man. Like, you talk about the places we haven't gone and the places we haven't searched.
Yeah.
Water is a huge one of them.
like I don't care what's on Mars. I want to know what's in the bottom of the Atlantic.
Right. Right. I think some people have probably found some things down in the water that they don't want to talk about.
Absolutely, man. It's like the pyramid thing, like that.
Yeah.
When they don't want to talk about it, a certain list. No, there's
Yeah.
there's things that people.
Well, that could be an episode all on
when
its own.
they don't want to talk about it, there's something there.
That could be an episode on its own, because the Titanic
Yeah.
may have been sent down to places that they don't want people to go because they didn't want anything being researched about the Titanic.
Yeah.
That might be something to talk about one day.
And like the Bermuda Triangle, dude. Like
Oh,
that used to be a thing when I was a kid. What, it
Yeah,
just
man.
went away? I don't think
yeah,
so.
I used to read. That used to scare the crap out of me reading about that as a kid. It was like some big vortex or something,
Yeah.
and it reminded me, like, in my child's mind of, like, all your toys, and, like, you're playing with your car, and then your car just gets, like, sucked down a hole, and then there's, like, a pile of them over
Yeah,
here.
yep.
Just like the Bermuda Triangle is just a pile of ships.
That's you know what I mean? Like, I wanna know.
Yeah. So I don't think there's a whole lot of great evidence for this. There's a couple interesting little videos, but there was a show back in the day called River Monsters. Did you
Yes.
ever watch this?
I did.
Well, what's interesting about River Monsters is the things that they pull out of the water.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna take a real quick look at what this guy pulled out, and man, it's ugly. All right, here we go.
Now I want to do something that fishermen never do when they catch one of these monsters. Have a look at it, then release it alive, back into the river. The mouth is going, the fish is breathing, that's good. And the gills are going, that's good. This water is nicely aerated, that's a good thing as well. Now, those teeth! That will just take lumps out of other fish, it will take lumps out of crocodiles even, and there are stories well documented of that taking lumps out of people. Wow. There we go. Oof. What a freshwater monster this thing is. What I'm looking at here is the ultimate piranha. Those teeth, just like a piranha's, triangular, sharp blades down the side, and they interlock. They interlock almost like scissors. They will just cut a lump out. Two big differences though. One is piranhas hunt in packs. You know, this is a solitary hunter, and the other thing is the size. People who think that piranhas are scary, if they saw one of these things, I think their nightmares might be populated by a slightly different animal.
Dude, that's messed up. That guy's crazy.
I was thinking the exact same
My
thing.
hand would not be anywhere near that thing's mouth.
No.
I've done enough fishing to know that thing can bend itself backward as quick as ever.
Man,
And
that thing looks like a piranha and crocodile got busy and kicked out something different.
yeah, the skunk fish. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't need a St. John's River monster now that I know there's things like that exist.
Bro, I don't go into order anymore. I just want you to know that.
I mean, that's what I'm getting at. It's like how like we were talking while that thing was going on. That thing looks like a mutant,
Yeah.
like a crossbreed of multiple things. It makes you wonder, like, is there somebody messing with genetics or DNA? Or, I mean, we've talked about like eugenics being done in humanity.
Yeah.
Are they doing it with other stuff? I don't know. That's just really interesting to me that to think about the number of species of fish and everything else that there are out there. And like we were talking about with the water,
Yeah.
like we haven't even scratched the surface on what actually is living in that.
Oh, I know.
And that thing is living in a deep, dark place that looks like straight out of hell for me. He's right. That would haunt my nightmares. I mean, look at the teeth on that thing.
I know. So when we lived in Jersey, I think it was Forked River, somewhere around there, there is a power plant, a nuclear power plant. And bro, people would fish in the water there and come up with fish with like 3 eyes and like, dude.
It's like on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
we should see. I wonder if the Simpsons have anything to say about the skunk ape. They're always right. Always right.
We'll have to look that one up. Bart dressed as the skunk ape or something. And
Bro, we're on Florida Sea Monsters, and I'm still talking about the skunk ape.
I'm telling you, man. I bet you for the right price you could join one of the researchers' hunting parties.
Bro, I'm gonna refinance my house. Get a selfie with the skunk ape.
I mean, You might want to talk to your wife about that one. Just get the feed off of Amazon first and start from there.
Does your life insurance cover stupidity?
So there's a couple other videos here about the St. Johns River monster. So we'll take a look at those real quick. So this video, I mean, there's some decent shots of something, and it definitely looks kind of weird, but I don't know that this is any kind of conclusive type deal. So let's take a look. So I don't know what the heck that was in the water. Like there were a couple times where I thought it maybe looked like a dolphin or something.
Yeah.
But then it stretched on and on and on. And I
It
was
did.
like,
You could
okay.
see the disturbance in the water. It almost reminded me of the Loch Ness Monster. And
Yeah.
like the videos that they used to have way back in the day of the different humps that were coming
Oh
up.
yeah.
You know, so
Um,
like a giant snake or something, man.
man, you talked about the Bermuda Triangle before, but as a kid, the Loch Ness Monster scared the crap out
Oh,
of me too.
that was the thing, man.
You know,
The gritty old black and white videos and
if there were some things that I could go back and tell my younger self, I'd be like, look, Bermuda Triangle, don't worry about. Loch Ness Monster, don't worry about. And quicksand. Don't worry about quicksand. How many shows as a kid did we watch
oh my
where
gosh.
somebody was stuck in quicksand?
Yeah, that's
Scared the crap out of me, man, as a
absolutely.
kid. I'm like, I'm gonna go to school tomorrow. I better watch where I walk in
I
my
might step in
neighbor's yard or
quicksand.
step in quicksand. So anyway, yeah, crazy stuff. We get off on some tangents here. Bear with us. So there's two more videos. The one I think is funny, and then I think this last video I think is what actually might be going on with this, and it's just a big one of these river monster looking
Okay.
things. But anyway, let's take a look here real quick. I'm gonna do these videos back to back here, and we'll go from there. That's some pretty good AI.
But yeah, because you don't see anything.
You don't see anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to know if it's not AI. I'd like to know how they did that.
Yeah.
But if you're really pissing off something like that, I think you're gonna see it come out of there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think this guy's just having fun. But here's the last thing I was talking about that I really think is probably more likely to be what this thing might be. Have you seen one of these things? Sturgeon fish?
I've heard of them, and then when I watched this video, I was like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Check this out. This fish is 10.5 feet, probably 500, maybe 600 pounds. We were just able to tag it, so it's probably never been caught. And now we're gonna release it back into the river. Woo! Unreal.
So I'm a little concerned about some of these dudes that just stand in front of these fish's mouths and put their hands near teeth. Like,
I got something bouncing around in my head. I'm trying to think how to say it, which means I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, like I think maybe, just maybe, that may be more of what's going on. Is it's some big
I
fish that nobody really knows about, and
I think
somehow it's
so.
lost its way into. And now, like I don't think he really said where the sturgeon fish.
No.
Well, he sounded like he was Canadian.
He sounded like something. So that guy's life, you just know when they go in the water with a big fish like that, they grab him from the head. That guy's life reads like an old country record.
Yeah.
His wife left him, his dog died, his truck won't start, lost his job.
He
He's just like, Jesus, take me.
Right.
And if you won't, I'm going to find something else that will.
Right. I'm so lonesome I could die, so
Yeah.
I want to Jonah. I want to Jonah myself and just have this
Oh,
fish.
Good
Yeah,
Lord.
man,
Either
that's
that or he's got a wife at home whose voice sounds like the dripping of a roof. Isn't that in the Bible somewhere?
well, again, Job, the only thing God didn't take from him is his wife.
And his friends.
So, yeah, who did not seem to be like the greatest people in the
Oh, my
world. So,
Oh, it's great. Wow.
oh, well, anyway, so that's the St. John's River monster for you, and I don't know that we did justice to these two things, but
You know, they were good. They were fun to talk about.
yeah,
They were.
definitely.
You know, if you got any big fish stories, man, let's hear it.
Oh, absolutely, and I know there's a lot of fishermen in this neck of the woods.
Even if it's the one that got away, we want to hear it.
Yeah, yeah. I'd love to hear some fish stories. You know, have you ever been out on a boat fishing, like in the ocean or anything?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, we did some
you
shark
know,
fishing at night and stuff.
Uh,
You can't see a whole lot at night.
no,
Like-
no, it's wild to go out at night.
Yeah, you have to,
And
like,
you
there's a
shine
lot of
spotlight
lights.
on the water. Like that's a little Jaws creepy.
Yeah. I mean, the ocean, the woods, all these places are a little creepy when you think about it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of marshland and just, I don't know, there's some places in Florida I don't like to be during the day, let alone at night. So this week on the Brevard Spotlight, we're going to look at the Sunseed Food Co-op. They're out on Cocoa Beach. Have you ever been in there, Bruce?
No, I haven't.
No?
I'll have to check it out.
They are pretty awesome, man. So basically they kind of remind me of like a little farmer's market kind of deal.
Okay.
I think they've got multiple vendors that come in there and kind of make a grocery store together. But dude, they've got all kinds of good stuff. They hand make sandwiches, salads, soups. They got a really, really great like meat section.
Okay.
I mean, they've got all kinds of meat. I think they
Wow.
had venison and all kinds of other stuff in
No
there too.
kidding.
Oh yeah. Fresh goat milk. Anybody likes that kind of stuff? They
Okay.
got this little section where you can go in and they've got like over 100 different teas that you can make your own bags and take those teas
That's
home, like
wild.
fresh cut leaf tea or whatever. So yeah, give them a check out, man. I've been using them for a few different things. They've also got some supplements and things like that. If you get with a nutritionist and they have you prescribed to something, this place might have some of that.
Wow.
Organic coffee, all kinds of good stuff, man. They're good little hometown co-op. And I love seeing a bunch of people get together and do something like that.
That's really cool.
Cocoa Village has some of that kind of stuff too. I think there's some
Yes.
artists and things like that have started some co-ops. So anyway, check them out. See what y'all think. All right. So this next section, man, did you know anything about the Coral Castle?
I did not.
Okay. So
And there's a little bit of a long video, so I kind of skipped some of it.
yeah, and we're not going to watch a whole lot of this. There's one guy's interview and this guy's intro that are kind of interesting, but there's been enough research kind of done to really kind of get our other talking points from. I guess what's kind of interesting about it to me is, well, I don't know if you ever seen that Ancient Alien show.
I have, yeah.
So they featured this in one
Oh,
of those. Yeah.
Wow.
It was interesting that was the first time I'd ever even heard
Huh.
about it. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll look a little deeper at this. And we'll do some discussion afterwards, but I think there's a lot more going on here. And I think it has to do with the fact that, like we talked about earlier, our grandparents didn't talk to us about the things that they had seen and the
Yeah.
things that were in the past. And I think there's a lot more going on when it comes to technology in the ancient world. In these last two segments, even that we talk about a little bit, that for some reason we're not being told some things and the way that they did things. So anyway, let's take a look real quick. We'll watch this little teaser at the beginning, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what's going on in this place.
We are on our way to Homestead. The main idea is that we get to spend several hours inside Coral Castle and document it and film it for the first time in, who knows how long.
He was brought into a mystery school, and in some way he was able to convey the mysteries of the ancients and hide mysteries into this stone construction.
They look down, what is this sitting on? And they find it's a piece of rock. They send it to the geology department, and they say, material not of this earth. It comes from where? Outer space?
2 teenage witnesses were said to have seen Ed levitating the giant stones like balloons.
That there is a black ball. They find a black ball.
The gears that he had inside, it was a pump.
And the holes on that one point at the top of the gateway over here where there's a metal.
Because you can get energy from limestone, depending on how you create your stone technology, I believe even the positions that they were put in, the locations that the chair sat in, had a purpose energetically even. So this entire place is one giant stone machine.
He died with the secrets of why he moved the castle on the ley line intersection of the Bermuda Triangle.
I was born here in Homestead. I don't remember Coral Castle, to be absolutely honest, but I remember the old gentleman who built it.
Because one of the things that the owners are totally against is somebody coming in to say, I solved the mystery of Coral Castle. I have the puzzle done.
It's one thing I've learned in my time here. Whenever you see something here that looks out of place, there's a reason.
He even said that he knew the secret of the pyramids. The pyramids were built by armies of men. This old man did this by himself.
So if you want to get my attention, blur out somebody's voice and make it 6 times deeper. And I'm going to want to know what you're talking about.
Nothing speaks conspiracy
Right.
more than a blurred out. Oh,
Skittles are actually not made from the rainbow.
yeah.
Yeah, man, that's kind of crazy stuff. So I don't know exactly how to pronounce this guy's name. I think it was Ed Lieskalainen.
That sounds about right.
I'm just going to call him Ed the rest of the time here. He was a Latvian immigrant. He was a really sickly child, and he only went to like a 4th grade education. I'm not exactly sure at what point he migrated over to the States, but he had a fiance over in Latvia. I guess they ended up having some sort of altercation.
Mm-hmm.
They break up, and she kind of leaves him I'm not sure if she left him for another man at the time or what, but he immigrates to Oregon, and I think in his mind, if I go to the States, become something, I can get this girl to come back and follow me. That was his thought process.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, really reasonable, right? Uh-huh. So he becomes infected with tuberculosis, and he's convinced that if he migrates to Florida, he is going to be cured by the sun.
Oh. Okay.
Interestingly enough, though,
Yeah.
he's given 6 months to live by his doctor there. And after 18 months have gone by, he's back in the doctor's office. I don't know why he didn't go back after 6 months. But the doctor's like, you should be dead. What's going on here? And
he says, I'm Superman.
Well, actually, he says I think he would think he's Iron Man.
Oh, okay.
Because he's convinced that the magnetricity is what kept him alive.
Oh, my goodness.
They mentioned it there at the beginning, but have you seen anything about this ley line grid that they talk about being all over the earth?
I haven't. I know that anytime I hear about the magnets, it being health properties,
yeah,
the skeptic in me is like, oh my gosh, can we stop selling snake oil?
Right. No, I would agree with that.
But then, and at the same time, when I remember, and I've got to develop the habit of it, and I go out in the morning and I ground, meaning I walk around in my yard in my
Yeah.
bare feet.
Bare feet, yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's just my brain telling me that, wow, you feel better, or if there's actually something to it. And a lot of people believe there's something to it.
Well, I think it's interesting because we've talked in the past about creation
Yeah.
before.
Yep.
And if you're looking at it from the blueprint of God's design,
Yeah.
like we think we're pretty smart individuals and
Right.
creatures and everything else in humanity. And like I used to work on swimming pools, right? I used
Okay.
to build swimming pools. A pool is basically just the circulatory system of the human body.
Wow.
You know,
Huh.
it's just like pipes going into the pool,
Yeah.
pumping it back and pumping it and keep going. It's like a circulatory system. The engine of the car, kind of like a
Yeah.
heart, brain. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like
I do.
it's like when you start to really think about the ingenuity and design and what we've done, it's like we've kind of just done what God's already made
Yeah.
and recreating it for our own uses. And the more you start looking at every single thing, it's kind of like they're all a pattern of the same type system.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure that the earth isn't the same way.
Right.
And if these ley lines do have like some kind of magnetic power that goes to these different places, is that what's kind of maybe holding it all together? And is the earth at the center of it some kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm not claiming to know any of that, but at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me knowing God
Right.
and knowing the creation of how we're made.
Yep.
And then what we do to create our own things. It's like, it would kind of make sense that all life, I mean, even trees and stuff, you kind of see the veins on the.
Yeah, you do. That's pretty wild. I never thought about that.
Yeah, so again, I don't know, but it would be pretty interesting if some dude like this guy would be the type dude that would crack the code, because he's like
Right.
this hermit that's just like his mind. He's like a Sheldon Cooper. Like his mind is just not the same as our mind. We're like mystified by the skunk ape,
The skunk ape.
and St. John's River monster, and this guy's like, I want to know about magnetricity.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I could care less about magnetricity. You show me a
big ape in a swamp, man, and I'm all in.
I'm all in.
And if he's riding the river monster, even better.
Hey, let's get them all together.
That's
Loch Ness champ.
That's something I throw some money at.
Just get them all together and let them fight it out like a big Godzilla movie.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Wow.
so this Ed character, he starts working on the Coral Castle, and they talked about it at the beginning of it, but 2 kids claimed to see him levitating stones, and they went to their graves swearing that they saw him do this. So I don't know if they just wanted to keep that story going or if he figured out some kind of deal. But, we were talking a little bit about this off air. Like, growing up, you hear about some crazy stories coming out of these girls' slumber parties.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Light as a feather, Ouija boards.
Yeah.
Like there's some major darkness coming out of these little girls' pajama parties. And I'm telling you, as a dude, we played Super Nintendo and maybe watched a scary movie.
Bro,
or
we were
two.
farting and making each other smell it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I was not like trying to conjure up Bob's demonic clown. What is going on here? Like,
oh, well, my wife said something about that to me before I left this morning. So her mom was practiced witchcraft before she was saved. And that she made my wife as a little girl lay on the bed, and she did light as a feather. And
wow.
To this day, my wife's in her 40s, and she is. I probably should.
What? She's in her 40s?
No, she don't care. She's still freaked out by it. She's like, that crap is real. Like, no joke. And not real like a fun way to experiment with it weird.
Yeah.
And real, it's like we got no business messing with that kind of real.
Well, and I think what's interesting is I mean, there was all kinds of urban legends, Bloody Mary,
Oh,
and
I
all
know.
this
I
other
was
stuff.
thinking about that.
And I'm just like, again, maybe if our grandparents had talked to us a little bit more, we wouldn't be trying to
I'm telling you. And, you know, when people say, "Oh, that stuff's fake," it's fake. You know. Well, I had a friend in high school towards senior year, and he lived in an old house. The house was like 1800s. One of those homes that had like a plaque on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he still is very much into the occult. Okay. And he told me a story one time, man, where he was messing with the Ouija board. Something was communicating to him through the Ouija board.
Wow.
And he said, "Hey, you know, if you really show me." And you know, the dude told him a whole story. Now the thing is, man, you never know what in the world you are communicating with. You're not communicating to a dead loved one.
No.
If you're communicating to anything, you're communicating to something dark that's disguising itself as light.
Yeah.
And he said that night, man, so he had his bedroom, and it was an old house. So he had a very small bathroom with a door that was connected. He said in the middle of the night, man, he heard like somebody was trying to punch their way through his bathroom door.
Wow.
And 3 times, man, 3 hard raps. And he was like, he didn't talk to the thing no more after that.
Jeez.
And, you know, so we've got to be careful, because as real as everything else is here, you know, there's also a spiritual world. And I am not one of those hyper spiritual swing from the, I'm not. I've been there, and I don't subscribe to that, but I absolutely do believe that there is spiritual darkness out there, and there's only one spiritual light, and that is Jesus.
Sure. And there's doors that you open without knowing it.
Absolutely.
If you're not careful.
Yep. Most definitely.
So, you know, wrapping up this section a little bit here, we're going to watch this one last video with, I think this guy's the one of the remaining survivors. This guy's like 94. He talks about his experience with this Ed character. I guess he kind of knew him a little bit.
Aren't his ears big enough? What's he trying to hear?
Looks like he's bending one of them over too. Yeah. Most people straighten their hair out. He's like fixing his ears.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Are we on?
We are on.
All right. Well, I'm delighted to meet you.
Oh, likewise. What a pleasure.
I was born here in Homestead, lived here for 3 years, and I remember, I don't remember Carl Castle, to be absolutely honest, but I remember the old gentleman who built it. Homestead, as I recall, had only one 2-story building, and it was a brown wood frame, unpainted building, and then on the 2nd floor was the office of Dr. Hartman. That was the doctor who delivered me and my dad's best friend. And so we had been to, or on our way to Dr. Hartman's office, and the gentleman that built Carl Castle was sitting on his bicycle, leaning against the wall, and I think having a soft drink from the pharmacy. At any rate, I probably would not have remembered that if my parents had not talked about him. But they knew who he was. They knew he was pretty much a loner. I don't think he had any social life at all. But he had built Carl Castle, which was an amazing accomplishment, and the townspeople knew it because they knew he had moved all these enormous stones by himself. There was nobody else here to help him. And he even said, and this, I remember my father quoting this, he even said that he knew the secret of the pyramids. Now, I've been in the pyramids. I went up the Pyramid of Khufu, which is the biggest there in northern Egypt. The difference between what was done here at Carl Castle and the pyramids were built by armies of men. This old man did this by himself. How did he do it? And I don't think the townspeople at that time were alert enough or interested enough to realize what he was doing. I couldn't appreciate the fact that he was moving these stones, individual stones weighing tons.
Do you think anyone will ever solve the mysteries of Coral Castle?
I doubt it. I really doubt it. Number one, the tools he had at his disposal were just very simple tools. And I think the mystery is in what he said, that I have discovered the secret of the pyramids. And by that, he was referring to the fact that he could move these stones.
Yeah.
I don't know the weight of them, but I'm looking at one, that spire.
Yeah.
It would take modern equipment, big equipment, to move that stone. Well, he got it standing up there.
I later came across a book titled Mr. Cant is Dead by Orville M. Irwin. This book wasn't easy to find. Orville was a longtime friend of Ed's, and in his book goes into surprising detail of how Ed allegedly cut, carved, and moved these stones. In fact, Orville also claims that he was the one that drove the truck that these rocks were moved on, saying although Ed did indeed work alone to place the stones on the truck bed, it did take him several weeks to accomplish this, and the move from the first location to Homestead took most of the year. A far cry from the alleged overnight move. He claims that Ed had no regard for time, that he would work tirelessly to achieve these incredible feats at his own pace, using the simple tools that were available to him, mentioning that today's generation, in the 1950s, were push-button kids, a generation that would rather do things at the push of a button than believe that a single man could accomplish all of this by the sweat of his brow. In a July 1939 issue of a local paper, the Redland District News, there was an article about his moving job captioned, "Ed is doing a colossal job of moving, but he wants no help, thank you." It described how he worked pulling and laboring and unloading some of the massive pieces of rock, and then continued, "He will decline your neighborly gesture courteously but firmly." According to Orville, making this statement, and I quote, "Ed wanted to tell people this would not be one of those tourist places where folks get fooled."
Man, there's quite a bit there, really. So the whole gears, pulleys, counterweights, pumps. This other guy was on there in the middle of that, and he's like, "Man, I totally know how this was done." Well, he claims that, like, kind of like those old medieval systems, like a catapult kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like you build one of those and you attach it to this stone. And some of these stones, though, were like, I think the heaviest one was like 26 tons.
Yeah.
But this guy's claiming you put it on there, you chain it up, and then you use a pump with water and you counterweight it. So you get the biggest amount of water you can. That water pushes that side down, lifts the stone up. But what I kind of thought was interesting, push button generation.
Yeah.
You think about that. And this is back, like at that point in time, they would have been calling the golden generation, like our grandparents, they would have been calling them the push button generation.
Absolutely.
So it kind of sends you back on this thought process of, what did these ancient people know? What were they doing? How were they building civilizations?
Yeah.
And like, this kind of leads into our last segment here, talking about the power of copper. But it took this guy 30 years, but one man built this in 30 years. What could a crew of 100 accomplish?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
And so that's kind of where I go from on this whole journey is, how lazy are we today as a society? Like,
dude, that's exactly what I was thinking when he mentioned the push button. Like, is technology actually good for us?
Well, and is it covering up everything that we already know? Everything that our previous ancestors did, knew, and were they more in tune with the earth and, again, God's creation? We're not talking about some crazy,
right,
hokum. But if we are given energy, if the planet's given energy, if all these things are resonating something, was it more harmonious the closer you get back to the time when Jesus was walking
Yeah.
the earth, the time when God was communing with man. And not to say he doesn't today, but are we healthy wise and everything else? Think about like us as individuals. We've got emotions, we've got the psychological element, there's a physical element, spiritual element. And it's like if you're not taking care of the physical element and your emotional state and all that stuff, what does that do to your spiritual
Yeah.
side?
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
everything works together in our system as one.
Yes.
And I sure as hell don't feel joyful and
Yeah.
prayerful and everything else when I'm hurting all the
Yeah.
time, or
Yeah.
when I'm depleted of, psychological resources, or
Yep.
however you want to look at that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's just weird. It's like, okay, there's something missing. I mean, you and I have talked about it. Anybody that I guess was born before, I don't know, 1980,
Mm-hmm.
like nothing's the same.
Yeah.
Like the burger from McDonald's that you got as a kid is
Oh, I
not the
know.
burger from McDonald's you get today. The
Nah.
pizza from Pizza Hut is not the same as the Pizza Hut back then.
Nope.
And it's like, if they're making everything artificial and more introducing synthetic things into our bodies, well, that means we're not getting what the previous generations knew you
Yes.
needed to
Absolutely.
survive and eat, you
Yeah.
know?
And yeah, sure, we live longer. Well, the pharmaceuticals are more developed. And you've got the same companies producing some of the food that are tied in with the pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
So you got to kind of follow the trail a little bit.
But are we living longer? Because I'm kind of thinking that that's kind of changing even.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because, like, my grandfather, he lived into his 80s.
Yeah.
It's hard pressed to find too many people that are 80s or above nowadays.
Yeah. But I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, our grandparents may have lived that long, but they didn't necessarily have all the craziness that's being introduced into the. So
Yeah.
what
There
is
you
this
go.
actually doing to our parents, us, our
Yeah.
kids?
I know, man. Like, I don't want food that's grown in a lab.
Right.
I really don't.
Yeah.
And this next clip, man, made me want to do a garden.
I know.
Like,
I
for
know.
real.
And so that's really where that takes us. As far as this Ed guy, man, was he just some broken-hearted dude that was trying to lure his fiance back over to the States, or did
Yeah.
he have some kind of,
What was he playing a shell game?
Yeah.
Or was something else that, like, that's one of those cool things that we're just kind of left with the questions, and we got to kind of figure it out on our own.
Well, and one of the crazy parts about it is the fact that he's in Florida, so he could be trying to con us all.
Yeah. Yeah. You make money doing anything in Florida.
So this kind of leads us into the next segment here about the powers of copper, which is kind of wild because you think about all the things that like they even say like silver and gold and all these other things, all these other metals have like powers too. Like holding silver is like good for your body and grounds you and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah, I never heard that. That's
Yeah.
wild.
So I don't know. It's interesting. We're so far removed from what the ancient world was like and what it did, and we're what we're being told are we really being told
Right.
like correctly? I don't know. But Nikola Tesla, and everybody knows what a Tesla is
Mhm.
nowadays, but the thing that it was, the person that those cars are named after was like a Serbian American migrant. He's born in July 10th of 1856. And this guy, like, if we didn't have him, either he already knew something and expounded on what he knew,
Right.
or he was the pioneer of all this stuff. Well, I'm starting to think that some of these guys in history already knew some things because of the ancient world
Mhm.
that was closer to them. And I think they expounded on maybe what was already being taught
Right.
and took it in a little bit more of a different direction. But like wireless communication, the X-ray, remote controls, radar, like we wouldn't have any of these things if it wasn't for this guy.
Right.
And they say that there were like thousands of patents that he had that were stolen from him.
Wow.
And the government or whoever like confiscated them and used them for their own ability. And then around that same time, Thomas Edison comes out and he's given a lot of credit for the things that Tesla did.
Yeah.
And this is all kind of well known now, but I wasn't taught that as a kid. I didn't even know who Nikola Tesla was.
Yep.
I was taught that Thomas Edison was the inventor that did it all.
Yeah, he was the man.
And come to find out, you really want to talk about a con man? He basically was taking the things that Tesla did and in cahoots with the government kind of thing so that people could be charged to use those things, where like Tesla just wanted to give everybody, like he wanted people to use it as like a open source free energy kind of thing. So I don't know, I think it's really interesting when we look down that avenue and kind of go there to really maybe understand that there's a reason why we are in this new place now. And it sort of seems like money drives everything. And how could we really be living if all these corporations and the government would just get out of the way? Maybe we need to start reading some old 1600 and 1700
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy.
About horticulture and all this other stuff. But this guy, Dr. Eric Berg, have you ever seen this guy before?
No.
He's got a lot of good videos about just health in general. And so I thought he had a really good video here about copper and zinc, mainly copper, but he talks a little bit about zinc in there too. But we'll take a real quick listen to this and then talk a little bit about it too.
Today we're going to talk about the 6 amazing benefits of copper. I've done a lot of videos on zinc, and if you have too much zinc, you'll deplete your copper reserves. So zinc and copper work together. So anytime you take one of those minerals, you better take the other one as well. And even more importantly, take those in a blend of all the trace minerals, because you never know what else you're going to throw out of balance. So copper has some real powerful effects on the brain. It helps connect neurons. It also is involved with making neurotransmitters, which are hormone-like communication particles that travel within the nervous system. Dopamine, GABA, adrenaline, noradrenaline, things like that. And if you don't have enough neurotransmitters, it's going to affect your mood. Copper is involved in the anti-inflammatory process. I'm not sure exactly why, but it could be because copper is part of the vitamin C complex, and it's in an enzyme form, but normally in nature, it's part of the vitamin C, and vitamin C is kind of an antioxidant, it's an anti-inflammatory, and it also is important in collagen. All right, so copper actually helps support the immune system. If you look at some of the serums that people sell for skin, they're copper-based. Number 6, it supports melanin. Now, melanin is all about the pigment in your hair. So if you're actually deficient in copper, you could gray prematurely. Now, what foods are high in copper? Oysters, top of the list. Other types of shellfish too. Beef liver, and also organ meats, mushrooms, especially shiitake mushrooms. And by the way, vitamin C is also in mushrooms, and it comes with that copper. That copper is in the form of an enzyme called tyrosinase. Now, you also can get copper in chocolate. Of course, if you're going to do chocolate, make sure you have the one without the sugar. Almonds, pecans, and leafy greens. Now, some of the symptoms that occur if you're deficient in copper: anemia, graying of the hair, loss of bone, your immune system will be affected, low white blood cells, decreased thyroid function, loss of collagen, your joints start falling apart, and hair loss. All right, guys, so I just wanted to kind of give you the basics on copper. I don't want to forget about talking about the amazing benefits of that. And check out this additional video I have on copper on this page.
So I think I mentioned that I've been working with nutritionists and stuff.
Yep.
I just had a blood panel done this past week. Should get the results in soon. But like every 6 months, we do a blood panel, and they're looking at like the metals and everything else. But it's like a way more extensive blood work because the typical healthcare provider doesn't even look at any of these nutrients or metals or whatever in your blood.
No, and insurance companies won't pay for that stuff.
No, they don't. They don't, isn't that odd?
It is odd, you know. Like, so I have really good health insurance because I was in law enforcement up north, and I found a primary care doctor down here that is kind of like a subscription primary care,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't take health insurance. But I'll tell you what, I pay somewhere around $100 a month, and I can sit with him as many times as I want for as long as I want. Usually the
Nice.
visits are about an hour.
Yeah.
And I can ask him to do all kinds of
Hmm.
work, and he'll do it up, and he gets it done at a discount cost. So I pay what his cost is for my blood work. And plus, you know, he has prescriptions on site and everything, but I have found that that type of extensive blood work and extensive care is so worth the little bit of money that you got to spend for it,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
No, definitely. One of the things that I noticed in my blood panel was copper and zinc were both deficient.
Wow.
And of course, he talks about the graying
gray.
hair. So we're working on trying to get those levels back up. But like he was saying, like there's so many trace minerals,
Yeah.
and being depleted in one means you may be higher in another. And it's like all about trying to find the balance, you know. I guess what I would say is this is probably something that we should be paying more attention to.
Absolutely. And I know, like, I've watched a little bit of Joe Rogan, and he's very much into the micronutrients
Yeah.
that are in blood work. And he's talked a lot about just how much of a difference it has made in his energy levels and in his health
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
You know, some days I'm a little more sluggish than others, but I do notice a big difference in going down some of this route because, like, you know, we look at magnesium level, we look at copper, zinc. I'm trying to think what some of the other levels in there were. They also look at the toxic heavy metals
Okay.
and you know how much of that's in your blood, and there's a range you shouldn't be
Hmm.
going over or around. And a good portion of our society has all that in it. You know, like these
Yeah.
even the aluminum cans, all your Cokes and stuff come in. You know, we're not supposed to be really doing that.
Yeah, never mind the stuff that we spray on fruits and vegetables so other things don't eat it, but then we go ahead and eat it.
Right. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? One of the things that we're looking at that Tesla kind of had a little bit about was like electroculture is what it's called.
Hmm.
It's like this copper antenna, copper rod that kind of goes into the soil right next to a plant and makes these plants bigger. We'll watch a
Yeah, I've
couple
heard about
videos
that.
about it. But think about it this way. If our bodies need that kind of stuff, our food would probably need that kind of thing too. And if the food is getting more of that, then when we eat the food, we're probably getting more of it. And so it's like this seems cyclical. This seems like
Yeah. I was just going to say, you know, not to mention, I could think of a few people I'd like to stick a copper rod in just to help them a little bit. Oh,
you, you look a little deficient.
Yeah, you look a little deficient. So come here, let me help you.
That's funny. I don't know where to go. So again, like this points back to like the 1700s. Whatever it is about the 1700s, there were some things going on then that we're kind of finding out now that maybe we should have never abandoned. But I still go back to the fact of where did these people in the 1700s
Where they come up with it. Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, nowadays you got what, those copper shirts? They got the,
Oh yeah.
like if you got an injury or something, you're supposed to wear them.
Yeah.
Or I need a whole bodysuit.
Yeah. Just give me a copper Iron Man suit. So we're going to look at this video real quick, and it really kind of does a great job of telling you how to do this. And I think this gentleman was I think he was in another video we watched about the wave frequencies of music or whatever. The crazy part about it is, and I almost think like this goes back to our grandparents again. My grandparents had a garden. Did your grandparents have a garden?
Yeah, they did.
It's like my parents were like, we don't care about the garden. And so it's like, okay, there's more of that push button mentality.
Yeah,
we can go to the
absolutely.
grocery now. We don't need to plant our own garden.
Yeah, till the grocery's not there.
But I'm promising you, I remember my grandparents doing something like this because there were like rods out there in the ground.
Okay.
And I don't think they were there just to support the plant.
Yeah.
It looks, I don't know.
Huh.
And so again, what did they know?
What did they know? Yeah.
That we didn't get told about or whatever. But anyway, let's take a look at this guy.
This is going to be a super duper electroculture rod. So what we're trying to do is use Mother Nature's gifts to us. And then when you coil it, the etheric energy and the earth energy have a way to conduct each other, make contact. Okay, so I'm going to bend it around this flat piece so that it stays, okay? Now I've anchored, I put a couple coils on the bottom here, and now I'm going to wind it, the copper. Follow your heart. You can't make any mistakes here. Look how hard this is. Do me a favor. Go over there and get me one of those gloves.
A few moments later.
I'm going to wrap this around here a few times, like so. And now here comes our antenna. 10, 12 inches is fine. Bob's your uncle. Your plants will become more lush. The fruit will be larger. The fruit will be sweeter.
Dude, that guy would be somebody I could just sit there and listen to forever. Like, I like old dudes like this that have like, well, this is the way we do it.
And
Don't you know?
You could fall asleep and he'd never even know it.
Right, right. Well, he could probably fall asleep and
He
he'd never
probably
even
would,
know.
yeah.
So I guess what's crazy about it, so he's like probably this old farmer type dude, and he's just like, yeah, this is how you do. This is what you
Yeah.
do. It wasn't like some crazy secret. It's just
No.
like, this is how this works.
That's wild, man. I want to make a 3-pound tomato. That's what.
I want to throw a 3-pound tomato at something. Well, you know, isn't that funny how like you've got fairy tales and nursery rhymes about this kind of stuff?
I'm telling you.
And it's like, I don't know, man. There's just so much that doesn't make any sense to me. It seems like you get the Bible. You've got some things that happen in like BC times, and you're fairly certain that all that took place.
Right.
And then like this dark age, middle age kind of thing to today, you're kind of like questionable about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I do.
It's like, okay, so were there like a bunch of Robin Hood and knights?
What was it?
and-
What we see on TV?
Yeah, and did that really last for, you know?
And how'd that knight get so jacked if all they're living off of is,
Yeah.
you know, he's not eating for weeks.
No, yeah. Is he using copper in all of his
Oh my gosh.
gardens?
And why do the girls look so clean and well dressed?
So one of the things that they claimed is like in these older farms, like they have found like some evidence of like these really big copper antennas
Huh.
in that area.
Okay.
And even like some of the homes and some of the infrastructure and buildings like had copper roofs on them back then too.
Wow.
And so I don't know. Again,
wild.
it's just weird to me how somehow or another we've gotten to a place where technology that was working correctly and probably thriving
Yeah.
has been taken away or hidden. And then you throw in stuff like the Georgia Guidestones and the Grand
Yeah,
Canyon. And,
I know it, man.
and it's like, okay, this is forbidden, this is forbidden, this is forbidden. Why is it forbidden?
And you know, and most people know this from what I understand. Like at some point, there were rumors going around that, I mean, we're talking 30, 40, 50 years ago, somebody created a carburetor that gets over 100 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
And the oil companies came in and bought it up. Like,
Well, I think he refused to sell, and I think
Did
he was dead. I mean, it is weird, and this kind of leads into the next, or the final area where, you know, copper is used as like a filtering tool for water, and like I have always been told like charcoal, you know, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But there's these survival guide people that they say that if you take a piece of zinc and this copper wire and wrap the wire around the zinc and you can take the nastiest water you can find, like out in the river. Like, again, this is what these people say. I'm not telling you to go out and do this. But they take this big bag of nasty water, throw that piece of zinc with copper wrapped around it into the water, and within like 30 minutes, all of it has sedimented to the bottom. And then they take like a clothespin type deal, put that on there, cut that bottom part off, and then pour out the water that's been filtered.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust that.
Oh, I wouldn't.
That's wild.
I'm not saying I would, but
hey, if there no,
but but is that really happening?
Yeah.
Or can you really do that? And why do we not know that?
I know.
And you talk about gimmicks, man. How many of these water filtration things like Brita and all this other stuff, how many of them really work? And what are they doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like things where they take the little reading thing, the measuring thing, and like it's almost no different, even after it's been filtered. One of the interesting things when it comes to this copper situation is, the Greeks and the Romans, like, they used copper for a lot of different things. Like, I'm not sure if the Romans' plumbing or not was copper, but they had like plumbing and stuff, and they had like heated tubs and all this other stuff. And one of the interesting things is, like, I saw in a video or read somewhere where, the peasant homes in like that medieval time or whatever, they had like a furnace type system that would come up out of the fireplace. And so they would stay warm in the winter and all that other kind of stuff. And I don't know about cooling or whatever in the summer months, but it was like, okay, you see this castle and how big the castle is. Do you really think that they didn't have some sort of heating system and some sort of way of keeping the place comfortable?
Right.
If the peasants had it, that the royalty had it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we're kind of taught that these castles and all this other kind of stuff are just like these cold, barren, icy, but it's like they had some technology in that place that probably surpasses ours, if not about the same.
That's wild.
When it comes to how these people were living.
Yeah.
Because there ain't going to be a king out there that's not as comfortable as his townsfolk are. So anyway, that's just one of the things that we're talking about, like with the Greek and Roman culture. It's like the way that they use these metals and the way that they engineered things is probably quite a bit more fantastical than what we think, or really have even been taught about.
Yeah, and and it's funny how, because I watched a video one time where the dude was out in somewhere where it was like seriously cold. And what he did is he took these bigger rocks and he put them on his fire and he let the rocks get hot. And he literally,
like charcoal or something,
put them, they're just like rocks from around. And the rocks took the heat, held the heat. He put them in his tent. He took the ones that weren't as hot and he put them in his sleeping bag. And he said he's warm all night long. So between that and think about, how metal holds heat. Like it's pretty crazy what we can do with and what we could probably do without nowadays.
Absolutely. And what we're being sold as a gimmick. So, one of the other things this made me really kind of think about was the fact that back in the day, and especially here in Merritt Island, we know because we have older houses.
Yeah.
But copper plumbing was everywhere.
Yeah.
And for some reason here now, they're trying to change everything to PVC. And what's the one thing they keep saying they're finding in all these people's bodies? Microplastics.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like, with all these health properties of copper, was there a reason why our plumbing was actually going through copper, and changing it to plastic sure doesn't seem to be the right way to go if that's a health issue.
Yeah. But copper, like up north, copper's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they break into the homes and they still do it where they try to rip out the copper pipes because they try to go scrap them for money.
Yeah. And I mean, mom and dad's home still has copper in it back in Kentucky. Yeah. So it's like, why
we got to switch?
Yeah. What's the real reason behind switching that?
Yeah.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, and so this guy really kind of this one of the last two videos here. They're not very long, but this guy really kind of spells out the properties of what copper actually has in like water filtration, even
Hmm.
and like make like we were talking about with the zinc and copper in the
Yeah.
water. And so let's take a listen to him real quick.
I got a question from a viewer who asked, does drinking water stored in a copper pot have truly any health benefits? The answer is yes. According to PubMed research, storing water in a copper pot for 16 hours reduced E. coli, cholera, and salmonella to undetectable levels. So there's an antimicrobial effect. This was storing water in a copper pot for 16 hours at room temperature, reduced that bacterial load in that water to undetectable levels. A copper water stored in that type of vessel, water stored in a copper pot basically, also has antioxidant properties. So it reduces your oxidative stress. It helps your body metabolize iron. It helps the health of your red blood cells. So yes, this is a good idea. Putting water into a copper vessel, letting it sit there for up to 16 hours. Some people say 6 to 10 hours is also enough. And then you drink that water. Now, here's where you have to be a little bit careful is if you put lemon in that water, that's not going to be beneficial at that point. It doesn't mean you can't put lemon into it afterwards, but we don't want lemon in the copper, in the water, in the vessel, because that can interact with the copper and create other byproducts that are not going to be helpful to your health. Another thing to understand is certainly is looking at the copper pot that you're going to be doing this with, because a lot of these vessels these days that you might buy from the store are sprayed with a urethane or a paint, basically a clear coat on the inside and outside of the pot to prevent it from oxidizing. You don't want that stuff in your body. So you need real copper, and it can't be coated with something. You also don't want to use copper that you've used some sort of polish on to get it to look good, and now you're drinking some of that polish in your water. So be smart about this. Yes, this can have some health benefits, and I would recommend people do this if they can. Is it going to be the end all be all for everybody? No. But this is highly beneficial for a lot of people. It could be something that we do in order to improve our health. Just be smart about it and don't do dumb things like put your water into what you think is a copper pot that's been sprayed with urethane or a clear coat or something like that. I'm Dr. Dave Morris of Magnolia Medical Center here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Let me know what you think about this. Take care today.
And then just this one other little quick video just kind of shows you the difference between real copper and fake copper. Yeah, check this out. So that really makes me think about something else too. It's like, why put polyurethane and paint and all this other stuff all over our stuff? It's kind of like you were talking about spraying the tomatoes and everything else with all
Yep.
these pesticides. And back in the day, they knew what they were doing. And here we are, you know,
Trying to
introducing all these synthetics and chemicals and artificial nonsense.
Yep. Trying to improve on something that's not broken.
Right. And, or somebody's trying to kill us.
Or somebody's trying to kill us, man. One or the other.
Or it's a combination of both. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if there's any little bit of research that we've done into some of this Godstone stuff, it sure seems like this would be a good way to take some people out if you don't like them being around.
Absolutely. At the very least, it's a lack of concern.
Yeah. Yeah.
For how these things are affecting us.
Yeah. Your cattle that we're making money off of, and we don't really give too much. I've thought about that a time or two when I've driven by and seen like a Chick-fil-A drive-through or whatever. It's like, man, we're just cattle sitting there waiting to be
I'm
fed.
telling you.
And they're just looking down at us like, ha ha. I think one of the other things, like they talked about copper jewelry in some of these other videos and some of the stuff that I'd seen too. You know what? Another thing about copper is I don't necessarily like the way copper looks.
Right.
And so if it does have all these powers and all this other stuff or makes it better, like the way that it looked may have a reason why people didn't really want to keep using it kind of thing. I don't know. I can't imagine what the Statue of Liberty actually looked like before it was all oxidized.
Oh my gosh.
Oxidized and green and stuff, Well, there's some people that would say that the Statue of Liberty is a copper antenna too.
Yeah.
But anyway, who knows? Wrapping up this week's episode, we just wanted to have a little bit of fun. We just wanted to sit there and kind of look at Florida, poke a little fun at it. And, it kind of led us to a question from that Coral Castle of, what are some properties of some things that we may not know about, and kind of led down to the rabbit hole of copper. And I didn't really know or think about copper in this way. I just knew that it was kind of conducive and it's in our electricity and our wiring and stuff. But I didn't think much more about it. But it really makes me wonder more about, what went on in the ancient world. What did they know? What did they pass on? Were some of these people that we've been told are these inventors and these classic, like, people that came up with ideas? Did they actually come up with an idea, or did they just add to one idea that was already there? So many questions.
And as our society continued and communication broke down from one generation to the next, what have we missed?
Yeah.
And what can we do to not allow our communication to break down further with our kids and our grandkids? And what can we impart to them that actually has some value and some truth to?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, because what are we talking to our kids about?
Yeah.
Do we just, and do we all just gather around the TV and watch shows together?
Or are we just eating dinner quietly? And, and I've been guilty of that more times than not.
Yeah.
And it's what are steps that we take to change that?
Yeah, and that's a really good idea, in the fact of like, maybe we should take some time to really kind of write down what are the things that I want to be passed on to my kids.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And, when would be a good time to sit down and have these serious conversations about the most important parts of life, and don't miss out on these things, kind of deal.
Kind of like that letter that we were talking about to our younger self. Well, a lot of times our younger selves are sitting at the dinner table with us.
Good point, man.
Yeah.
It's a really good point. There's always, I mean, we're kind of always taught that every generation is better than the next. I don't know that that's always true.
Yeah, and what are we considering better? How are we gauging that?
Yeah. I would guess on some level, the quote unquote ease of life and the push button mentality is somehow attached to it being better.
And technology has turned into a way of gauging our, I don't know if intelligence is the right word, but I can't think of the word that I wanted to use for that.
Our civilized nature.
And is it really? And you've talked a lot about God's design over the past couple episodes, and I mean, if you look at us, were we designed to hop in the car and go drive to the grocery store?
Man, I've thought that so many times.
I literally just got my hunting license because I'm intrigued by the idea
of the skunk ape.
Of the skunk ape. You know, of what it would be like to hunt for my food.
Yeah.
And take down an animal and have it, you know, quartered up and all of that and eat it at the table.
Man, I know so many guys that are like, if you really want to spend some time with God, up in a hunting blind, you'll really get to know your maker.
Yeah, you got a lot of quiet time.
Yep. And, you know, there's a lot of people that would argue and say hunting is inhumane and this and that, but hunters, man, at least the ones I know, they respect that animal and they respect nature.
Absolutely.
And they see it as God's provision.
And, you know, and that's one of the things I didn't know until I took the test for my hunt license is that when, where, and what ammunition you use are just a couple of the things that make it fair game, meaning the animal has an opportunity.
Mm.
You know,
I don't think I knew
look
that.
at it much differently. I
Yeah.
really do. I didn't realize some of the things, but
No, it's cool stuff. So yeah, that's going to really kind of wrap up this week's Bearded and Blessed podcast. Be sure to check out Sunseed Food Co-op right down there on 528 into A1A. And man, good food. Like if you're looking for, like, I do this big thing of roasted vegetables almost every week, and I buy them all from this place, and then I eat off of them for like 3 or 4 days. And it is some of the best produce in the world.
Really?
And they've got these purple sweet potatoes. You ever heard of these things?
No, I haven't.
So I can't remember which ancient culture it is, but there's like an Asian culture where they're known for their purple sweet potatoes. And they say it's what gives long life to these people in the area. It's this sweet potato. I don't know if it's the same kind or not.
Wow.
But it tastes delicious. And it's kind of funky to cook a sweet potato and slice it up, and it's like bright purple. I freaked my kids and my wife out when I was eating one of those. So anyway, give Sunseed Food Co-op a look. Check them out. See what you guys think. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. We've gotten some pretty good comments where I've been impressed with how the conversation's kind of going. And we'll probably be looking for some new ways to reach out to some people a little bit more. But that's about it for me. You got anything to say, Bruce?
No, I'm done, my friend.
I am too. It's been a good one, guys.
It has.
All right, you guys take care. We'll catch you next week.
All right, catch you later, pal.